It's day 263, the peace agreement. The Meccans were worried. The Prophet was still waiting at Hudaybiyah with his companions. They were afraid of his power. They had no other option but to say yes to the peace offer. At the end of the 20th day, they sent a man to him. His name was Suhail. Suhail sat down in front of the Prophet and submitted the peace agreement. Then he read out the first condition of the agreement. For the next 10 years, no war shall take place between the Muslims and the pagans. This was a nice development because up till then, the side that started the battles had always been the pagans. The Prophet, on the other hand, was always in favor of peace and brotherhood. Suhail read aloud the second article of the agreement. This year you shall not enter Mecca, but next year you may come without any arms. You can visit the Kaaba. You will not stay in Mecca more than 3 days. When they heard it, the companions looked at one another. Since they were already there, they did not want to go back before visiting the Kaaba. But the Prophet accepted the conditions the pagans submitted for agreement. Their approach to a truce, even if it was just one step, was important. Both sides signed the agreement. Afterwards, the Muslims started their preparations to go back. They were returning to Medina, although they were burning with their longing for the Kaaba, and they were so close to Mecca. The companions were surprised and sad. The only consolation they had was that the Prophet had agreed. Of course, he knew something that they did not know. While they were proceeding on the journey back to Medina, good news came to the Prophet. The Archangel Jibril brought a message from Allah, the Almighty, saying, "We have opened up a clear conquest." This meant that all the barriers to peace had been lifted and all the doors to victory had been opened. So the dream of the Prophet was going to be realized very soon. The Muslims were going to conquer Mecca. Even though the conditions of the peace treaty of Hudaybiyah were difficult to swallow for the Muslims, this was a trial for peace. It was a beginning. Those who had not allowed the Prophet to enter Mecca, wanting to destroy him, were agreeing now to his coming back to Mecca, even if it was a year later. On the horizon, everybody could see peace, brotherhood, and fresh good news.